With the recent Court of Appeal judgment sacking some governors and lawmakers and affirming others, Minister of Labour and Employment Lalong has received his certificate of return as the senator to represent Plateau South District. The Labour Minister received the certificate in Abuja, the country's capital. He is yet to resign as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On the 7th of November, the Court of Appeal in Abuja affirmed the judgment of a tribunal which declared Mr. Lalong the winner of the Plateau South senatorial election. The three-member panel of the appellate court, led by Alfreda Williams-Dawudu, held that the tribunal was correct in its decision. Now, the eye of the people is on when the minister will resign his position, or when actually will the president replace him, now that he has a sure mandate of 4 years. Joining us to speak more on this is former Commissioner for Information in Plateau State during the tenure of Governor Simon Lalong, Yakubu Dati. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Well, as a close ally to the minister, do fill us in on his mood at present. Is it that of confusion or of excitement?
Well, to start with, the former Governor, Right Honorable Simon Lalong, is actually contested to the Senate. So the victory at the tribunal is also a victory that has reverberated across Plateau State. Like you well know, it also affected other seats. So there's a lot of joy, and he has always maintained a stance that he has a boss, and that is like a traffic. When there's a traffic, there is a warder, there's a controller. And that is his boss, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, President of Nigeria. So as his minister, he believes, and he has said it, that he needs to discuss with his boss first before the boss will show him the direction to take. So we are quite excited on the plateau that indeed it is a clarion call to serve from the people. We also await the decision that Mr. President will take.
Now Mr. Lalong has actually received the certificate of return, and some would say they're actually not surprised that he received it, considering that the position he holds at the moment is appointive, which is subjective to Mr. President's assessment. How do you see that?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yes, I'm talking about the concerns raised by some people that they're actually not surprised that Mr. Lalong collected the certificate of return, because the position he currently occupies as a minister is appointive, subjective to the president's assessment. How do you react to their call and the expression of no surprise?
Well, it's actually a call to service at every point in time. We are talking about a gentleman, Right Honorable Simon Lalong, who has been held elective position for the past, let's say, almost 20 years. He was the longest serving speaker in the Plateau State House of Assembly. He also was the governor of Plateau State, for a two-term governor for 8 years before he contested for the Senate. So his life has been all about service. And you recall that he was also the Director General of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council, where he showed his mettle. So his life has been all about service. And to him, at every point in time, so long as there is a call to serve, he's ever ready to serve. And for the people of Plateau, especially the people of Southern Zone, they came out en masse to vote for Right Honorable Simon Lalong. So it's their desire that he will come back home to serve them as their senator. But like he has always said, he also has a boss. And so based on the discussion he will have with his boss, he will take a position. So it's not really about being in the Senate or being in the National Assembly. At the end of the day, it's being of service to people, to Nigeria, and to humanity.
And when will this discussion with his boss happen? Do you have an idea?
Sorry?
When will this discussion he intends to have with Mr. President take place?
Well, there's a lot of things that will also go on, because that is also a personal decision he has to take. But we in Plateau are very excited, because as I speak with you, Out of the 3 senators in Plateau State, 2 are of the APC party and 1 is pending a rerun, which we are sure we are going to get. The National Assembly, House of Representatives, we already have about, out of the 8, we have 6 in the kitty. The other 2 are Labour Party. And out of the 22 House of Assembly, we have 20 under APC, while YPP and Labour Party has 1 each. So we are very confident because the issue is a reverse issue that happened in Zamfara, that's happened in Plateau, because the PDP did not comply with existing court orders, and so they ceased to have the authority to even operate. So, and that is why people that contested in the party were looked at as independent candidates, because and the Constitution does not have role for independent candidates, and therefore their votes were avoided, which gave Philip to the APC. And so with a lot of excitement, Plateau people are looking forward and praying that their distinguished senator will come back and represent them and be with them at home and be able to be closer to the people. In spite of, irrespective of where he will be, he will continue to offer service, because this is a government he's talked out his neck for, and for whatever position he will be, whatever decision that he will take, he will continue to play his role as a statesman to ensure the progress of the country and to his party as a whole.
Indeed, and you know, I would have really loved us to just juxtapose the situation that Mr. Lalong is facing now with what became of his partner, that's former governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, who actually had to drop his position as chief whip of the Senate to take up ministerial appointment. And well, you have said that you're just waiting for him to make the decision, but do you think he could actually just toe that path and while his life is about service, maybe he just continues as a minister?
Well, the point, like I said, it's all about service. And we know that the president wants him to continue to serve because of the excellent show he's showing in leadership. But we are also, there's also a push from his constituency who have called on him to come and represent them as a senator. And so at the end of the day, it's actually a personal decision that he will take. But for most of us who are from his constituency, our dream and desire is that we can have our own, that we can call our senator, who will be closer to us, closer to the people, and then be able to deliver the dividends of democracy. But in a bigger scale is the president, like he said, his boss, who will see the bigger picture and see where he fits in. Already in Plateau State, Lalong has already laid a very good foundation of peaceful coexistence, development, and inclusive governance, which has brought relative peace in Plateau for the past 8 years. And it is in that light that he also brought a successor, who is in the person of Professor Nentawe Yilwada, a development expert, renewable energy expert, and ICT guru, who has the desire to reach out to the youth, who has been reaching out to the youth, to be able to move the state a step further in that direction. And that is why there is so much excitement in Plateau State with the turn of events. And we believe that for wherever he is, whether he's a minister, Governor Lalong is as minister or as senator, he will continue to play his fatherly role in supporting the incoming government of Professor Nentawe Yilwada.
Well, wait to see the decision he actually makes, because it's a big shoe he's wearing at the moment, having to constantly interact with organized labor to halt strikes and ensure that the Nigerian workforce is actually productive. But let's talk a bit about the politics going on in Plateau State. The opposition APC is now to lead the State House of Assembly following the court order sacking of PDP lawmakers. How do you react to that? Would you actually say you have the backing and support of the people to do that?
Yes, there's clearly that Dr. Yilwada has the support of the people, because from even the appeal court judgment, it voided the votes that were cast in 3 local governments where there was massive rigging. And those local governments were Mangu, Jos South, and Jos North. So with the removal of those votes, Dr. Nentawe came out as having the highest lawful cast votes. And that, in addition to the fact that the PDP does not have structure, has made him emerge as the governor. In fact, he is a man that is well accepted, and the fact that people came out to celebrate instantaneously across the length and breadth of Plateau State, indeed Nigeria, shows its acceptability. And why I say Nigeria is that Plateau is very significant and important, especially within the north central, the middle belt Nigeria, because it's like a signal to most of the states that are surrounding. And that is why the direction that Plateau takes leads other states. Then little wonder that most of the successful primaries that gave birth to successful presidents were done in Plateau, from MK Abiola to Asiwaju and several others. And that is why the interest in Plateau is beyond just the Plateau people, because what happens in Plateau reverberates across the country. And that is why we are happy, and everybody, men of goodwill, are happy that this has taken the turn of events. And we also want to say on this, commend the judiciary, who have also stood by the truth and be able to be bold, to be able to stand by the truth.
You mentioned the people came out to celebrate, but there are actually those who hold opposing views, who are asking questions about what the APC was able to achieve all the while it was in power in Plateau State. Well,
it's very, for anybody to ask that question is very interesting, because everybody knew that Plateau has been a killing field, so to speak, where there were lots of attacks, where there were a lot of suspicion among people living there, instigated by ethnic and religious diversity. The past administration of Right Honorable Simon Lalong, working closely with the National Assembly members, with the leader of the caucus, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris, other members of the National Assembly, who are including Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, and even Honorable Bagos and others in different parties, all joined hands together under the leadership of Right Honorable Ahmed Idris to support the peaceful initiatives being deployed by the governor. And also, by way of accommodation, the governor was able to create an enabling environment and create a sense of belonging to every kith and kin. And so businesses began to flourish. In fact, during that administration, there was time that most weekends you have to book ahead of time before you even get a hotel room. And Plateau gradually was becoming the tourism headquarters for workshops and all that. It was the destination to go. And that in itself is what is making people happy, because with the coming of this Dr. Yilwada administration, it will build on those gains. For the past 6 months that the PDP has held sway, Plateau has been pulled back like another 8 years. All the gains are being reversed under the PDP. We witnessed a lot of bloodshed, a lot of attacks, and unfortunately, a lot of pettiness by the Governor Mutfwang administration. You can imagine when we are fighting on unemployment, the APC government gave more than 1,000 youths employment. And immediately this PDP government came in, he sacked all these youths that were offered employment. And that, I mean, even the supporters were wondering, what is this man up to? At the end of the day, these are part of the people that welcome the appeal court decision that sacked the Mutfwang administration.
Well, Mr. Dati, as it stands, just now we're showing a video showing the people of Plateau State actually welcoming the governor, Caleb Mutfwang, when he returned from Abuja. He received massive support, people gathering around him, celebrating for what he has done in the past 6 months. And you remember he has a right of appeal and has, as a matter of fact, indicated interest to appeal this judgment at the Supreme Court. So I'm wondering if your party is actually willing and ready to accept the verdict of the Supreme Court if it's not in your favor.
Well, the fact remains that we are talking about a character who has perfected the act of doublespeak. This is the same governor that 3 days ago he was part of the delegation where the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum Governor Bala Mohammed spoke and said that the PDP governors have accepted the verdict, only to turn around and go to Jos and hire and gather hired crowds, pauperize people to the airport to come and welcome him. And the irony is that welcome him from where? This is a man that spends 4 days out of 7 days in Abuja. Every day is in and out.
Prove that the crowd was actually hired? Is there any evidence to prove that? He has a right and he's choosing to appeal. Would you blame him for doing that?
Well, the fact remains that if you accept the verdict of the judiciary and you join your party to say you accept it, why turn around to hire crowds that will come and cast aspersion at the judiciary? And that is the problem we're having, because we have a man who is double-faced in his activities. When he comes to Abuja, he tries to romance with the APC government and pretends to the Asiwaju that is with him. When he goes back to John, he goes to wipe up our religious and ethnic fault lines. In fact, what they say every day is that the APC government is trying to Islamize Plateau. And the question is, Islamize how? The same trajectory...
Do you expect that when the governor meets the president, he doesn't show some level of support? It's one Nigeria, and it should be the interest of the people, and it shouldn't be around party lines, I want to believe. So I do not think you would expect that when he sees the president, he shouldn't show courtesy as is required. But that's too much we'll actually be able to take on the program.
And that is why the president reciprocated. You recall that Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Yeah, my final thought is we want to call on the call on the security agencies to focus on the activities of this governor, because like a bull in a china shop, he wants to pull down the state before he leaves. As I speak with you, he has relocated the Plateau State House of Assembly to his place of abode, to the government house in Jos. All that to ensure that the members that were duly brought in by the appeal court will not be allowed to resume in the House of Assembly. That is simply a path to anarchy. He has become like a loose cannon in the state. And there are rumors that he has targeted the houses and properties of prominent people in Plateau State, including the president of the Court of Appeal, APC.
And it would be very important for you to prove them, because you are on national television. But I sincerely appreciate you for joining us on the program. Former Commissioner for Information in Plateau State during the tenure of Governor Simon Lalong, Yakubu Datti, thanks a whole lot for joining us.
Thank you very much.